Authors Unplugged. I'm so excited to talk to Dragonblade authors Meara, Platt, and Heather McCollum this week. Ladies, thanks for taking the time to talk to us.
Sure.
Thank you.
So, Heather, your book launched first this week, and it's The Highlander and the Lady of Misrule, and
Yes.
it's book 2 in the Queen's Highlanders series. And every time I get a chance to talk to you, I learn more about poisoning than I knew before. So I'm very excited for today. Can you tell us a little bit about the book?
Sure. This is actually a Christmas book. I'm very excited. I love Elizabethan England, and this takes place down when Queen Elizabeth is around 40 years old, and in the 1500s.
Sorry,
and,
I'm still not sure about that.
Oh, sorry.
And the it's okay.
I was trying to turn the song off.
And the Lord of Misrule is the jester for Christmastide. So he's chosen, and he usually, does, games, and he's the one who, organizes all the parties and the festivities during the 12 days of Christmas. Well, at the beginning of my book, he gets poisoned, and they all think it was a mistake because he was like taking food from places, and they think that Elizabeth, of course, was about to be assassinated. So my heroine, Lucy, has always had this wonderful sense of humor and so forth. And so the Queen chooses her to be the Lady of Misrule. But she has no intention of dying to the assassin's, poison. So she wants to figure out, what's going on. Meanwhile, the Highlander comes down from King James and is trying to save Elizabeth, warn her, because the regent for King James wants him to be selected as the next king of England if Elizabeth has no offspring, which she probably won't. So anyways, the Highlander comes down to find the assassin. He stumbles upon this woman freeing a bunch of dogs. And
that's right, there's bear fighting in this one too.
Well, that was a terrible blood sport that they had in Tudor England. And my heroine rescues everybody from orphans to dogs. Apparently the bears were protected because they were so expensive, but the dogs that they threw in there would die. And so she is out to save the dogs. So she is releasing them when the hero comes up to find out what's going on. And then the guards come up, and of course he looks guilty. And so anyways, they have a very interesting meeting. But it takes place during the 12 days of Christmas at Elizabeth's court, and they're trying to figure out who the assassin is before the Lady of Misrule accidentally gets poisoned as well.
Yay. That's great. It really does. It really does. Well, there are no poison dresses this time or gloves.
I'm not saying anything.
That was the thing I didn't even realize happened until I talked to you the first time when the first book came out. I had no idea.
Yes, and the ladies of Elizabeth's chamber had to go after the poisoning and kiss all her pillows and bedding to make sure that there was no poison on them. That was something that her father Henry VIII did quite frequently, is to have all his men, gentlemen of the bedchamber, like kiss his bedding to make sure there was no poison in them.
I don't think I would want to be friends with
not
royalty.
An easy time. Not an easy time to be a monarch.
Really not. Really not. Well, I love that she saves the puppies. I was reading in the blurb of that one that she saved the puppies from.
She is a big rescuer. Yeah.
So very cool. Well, it sounds very exciting and like very much fun. I'm looking forward to it. And there are how many more books in that series?
One more, which I'm writing right now. The Highlander and the Counterfeit Queen. So, and that one's about Lucy's sister. So.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, but they can all be read as standalone books completely.
Very cool. Very cool.
I'm completely messing up this interview. I'm so sorry. We spoke of allergies.
Oh, is it getting you?
Yes.
I came to sit outside here so that we'd have good internet service, and instead I was like, I was wishing I had a hat, or I told Heather when she first came on that I would give just about anything for her headband to keep it from blowing around. But it's nice that it's finally fall. I'm happy.
Yeah, it's 95 degrees here right now, but yes, it's fall.
Where are you?
North Carolina.
North Carolina, I'm Virginia,
it's-
so it's still
Okay, well,
yeah.
it's supposed to cool off in the next couple days.
Yeah, well, if our weather's going your way, it should be good.
Good.
So, Meara, I'm not going to ask you about the number of books in this series because because it just goes on forever and ever and ever. So your book is The Dream of Love, and it's the whatever number of the Book of Love, part of the Book of Love series.
Yes.
Can you tell us a
Yeah.
little bit about it?
Okay, yes. So in this series, we now have 14 full-length books and 3 novellas. This is the 3rd novella, and this one was originally, I got a couple of years ago. I got an email from T.J. McKay, who is the publisher of In Detail magazine, which is a big magazine within the publishing thing, and that magazine runs a serialized story every year. They choose one author to run a story, and they run a chapter each month. She emailed me. I thought it was a joke when I first got it. I thought someone was just spamming me or something, but it turned out to be real. I guess she had followed the first few stories in the Book of Love story, which was new at the time, and wanted me to write a feature novella, especially for this, for her magazine. So this is how The Dream of Love came up. And I had, you always have these spare characters that you say, I have to write a story for him. I have to get it right to it. And the vicar was in this little town of Cotswolds town of Wellsford. He's big, sexy, gorgeous, beautiful, dark hair, blue eyes. The women never miss church anymore. They all have to come because they love him. And he's got a lot of secrets, and he's actually Scottish, which is unusual because different, he's not Church of England, but he's got his own secrets. And I needed to find the right girl for him, the right heroine for him. And I came up with this young Earl's daughter, and this is a girl who has never known love her entire life. She has, of course, in that generation or at that time, it was very common just to you married for purposes of alliances, for business reasons, for whatever. Love was not really a factor. Well, her parents hated each other, and she was really just caught in the crossfire. They'd shuttle her back and forth from one to the other. Just didn't want to have anything to do with her. Each resented that she reminded them of this horrible marriage that they had entered into. So here you have this woman who is just needs to be loved and dying for, to find love. And you've got the hero who has his secret torments and is never wants to open up his heart. So, and of course, which is, he's a vicar, so you'd think that he'd have a little bit, but so that's the basic story is that she's out saving a fox that her father is trying to trap, and it's just like the opening scene is basically she's running like hell with this fox, and she runs into the church because not that just because she doesn't know where else to go, and to maybe
sanctuary,
let this fox find sanctuary or whatever. It doesn't happen. He comes right after her, and that's how she and the hero, who they've known each other because she's a parishioner and he's been with it, but this is how they're drawn together. And the father's furious, and he basically says, you have a week to apologize to me, or I'm cutting you off forever, and you'll never see a penny from me. You're going to be dead to me. And but if in the week you come back, I will find you a man to marry. Of course, she doesn't trust the father.
No kidding. Like, what kind of? That's not. There's no upside there.
No, there's no upside. So, and this is where the Book of Love comes in, right? Because the heroines in the first 3 books, Olivia, Poppy, and Penelope.
Mm-hmm.
Although actually Penelope is now married in a way, but Olivia and Poppy are determined to help her, and so of course they're going to give her the Book of Love and she'll read it. And because it's a novella, I don't have time to go into all of the intricacies of this wonderful book.
But we know about the Book of Love already because we've
yes. And the fact is, she feels the magic. The magic starts to happen once she starts to read this book, and the vicar Adam starts to come around. He's not trying to, but he's just drawn in. He cannot let her get away, and he cannot let her see her, let anyone hurt her. So it's just a fun, quick read. It's a novella, so it's not. But the next big book hopefully will come out soon. I'll nudge the Dragonblade to try to get a
release
date for this next one I've turned in, which will be The Miracle of Love. That's the big one. That's another story, and that hero is gonna just knock your socks off.
Well, I gotta tell you, I have kind of a soft spot for handsome clergy, which I'm not sure what that says about me, but that is one of my personal things. I like the handsome clergy. So even better if it's a Father de Bricassar kind of thing. That may actually be where it comes from, is from Goldie McCollum as an impressionable youth. So Heather, we have an open door dog policy on the.
I'm sorry.
No, I mean, we're totally. Yeah, no, we are totally. There being cat. Maeve's cat will occasionally walk in front of her face and wave its tail. So we are absolutely fine with pets. I like getting a chance to see them, and I think everybody likes to see a little bit of the behind the scenes stuff for you guys. So.
Well, Sophie always wants to be in the show.
So that sounds like so much fun, and I'll look forward to when The Miracle of Love comes out as well. Which, the covers for that series is just every single one of them they're just so beautiful. Every time I had a chance to set up the ad creatives for them, like, these are just lovely.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Dar is amazing. One of the fun parts of writing these stories is just seeing what covers she's going to come up for, and I'm always just wowed by what she finds and what she manages to do.
So we were talking a little bit at the beginning because Heather showed up with really pretty hair. It has curls and there's sparkles, and it's with really pretty hair. We were talking a little bit about HRR, which is next week. So I'm actually going to get a chance to meet you guys in person, which I'm really excited about. There's so many authors that I've talked to that I haven't met anyone in person yet. So I'm very excited to do that. But for the readers who don't know very much about HRR, do you guys mind talking about it a little bit? And particularly emphasis on Heather, if you want to show your spreadsheet, that would be fine.
Yes, it's my first time, but I understand that costumes are the thing, which is my thing. I feel like I have found my people at the historical romance retreat. But I've got so many costumes, I've had to make a spreadsheet that goes onto the back for each day that tells me what to wear when, and what shoes, what jewelry, what hairstyle. So I was practicing this for the Bridgerton ball. Anyways, so yes, it's like the Mount Everest of historical romance retreats or conferences.
Yeah. I was there. By the way, Heather, your hair looks gorgeous. You are going to just
pretty
smashing.
It's
just gonna
thank you.
Wonderful. So, yeah, I was there at the very first historical romance retreat, and I have to say that it completely wowed me. I had never been to a conference that was as amazing as that. And I've been to some very good conferences. Mm-hmm. You're completely thrown back in this wonderful era, and and again, and it's low key. Everybody loves to dress up, but nobody should ever feel out of place. Everybody's just welcome. You come,
Oh,
whatever.
thank goodness. Because I do not have a spreadsheet.
If you come to my room, I'll use my curling iron on you.
I would take whatever I could get at this point.
Well, and the important thing is, and actually, my roommate is going to be Julie Johnstone, who's who writes a lot of. She writes the Regency and Scottish, a lot of Scottish, and the thing is that we need each other because somebody's got to help us dress. You can't do up those laces on your own. You can't.
Oh, my husband has a copy of the spreadsheet, and and my accountant actually said that because he has to dress me in all these different things, his trip is tax deductible as well. I'm like, yeah, because there's no way I can get in and out of these.
That is some creative accounting.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
I can demonstrate how hard this is.
Yep. No, you need your dresser. That's it. But this time I took 2 gowns because also when you're traveling and you've got your regular clothes, the gowns, you've got books with you. You just there's a limit to what you can bring and what you can carry, especially on a plane. It's one thing if you can drive to the convention, you just load up your car and just throw everything in there. But on a plane, you can't. You have to watch. So I've rented some costumes through Period Images, and they've just been wonderful. VJ is terrific, and so that's it. So I'll have 4 gowns, 2 that I'm bringing, one that's a little versatile, so I can kind of use it from different ways, and then 2 that I'm renting there. And we won't talk about the weight I just gained and now have to desperately lose.
Oh, I know.
The whole pandemic, dressing post-pandemic is just mean.
It is. I've had to move over all the buttons on all the dresses. My mom and I. My mom even had to put in another panel in the back of one.
Well, if you have laces, that's okay because you can fit in fabric and then lace up afterwards. But buttons are not.
No, but it's a wonderful conference. The workshops are going to be tons of fun. All the activities are going to be fun, and you will never see them anywhere else, except here. They're going to do a gaming night, and they'll have a.
No, that's TJ London sponsoring the gaming night, right?
Yes, Revolutionary War period gaming night, and then I'm one of the people who are sponsoring the Scottish Ceile, which is a Scottish party.
Cool.
We're going to have a dancer there to show us how to do some steps as well. So it should be, because I write Scottish mostly. Even my tutor books have a Scotsman in them, Highlander.
The Queen's Highlander.
I love Scotsman.
I married one. You'll be there in his kilt.
Well, that sounds like so much fun. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm very apprehensive about the costuming thing, and I think I told Heather that Natalie and I were teasing each other today about how we were going to be the servants who stole Triss's gowns, and that's how we were going to justify not having all the bits and pieces we were supposed to have, because it's been.
Don't worry. I don't either. Don't.
From what I understand, it's a no judgment zone.
Yeah.
I love that idea. I love that idea. When Catherine first said something about it, I was so excited because I thought it would give me a chance to whip out my Pensick stuff, and I went to get it out, and it's like, oh no. Post pandemic, this just isn't going to work.
It's called the Quarantine 30.
I know for a while there was the Quarantine 20, and that was easier. That was bad enough, but it's gotten worse. So I'm very excited about that. I'm also very excited about the fact that it is finally fall. I know, Heather, it's still warm where you are, but it feels like you can kind of feel like the weather has turned, and we are pumpkin spice everything here now. Do you guys have any special things you like to do in the fall? Are there any things that you really look forward to at this time of year?
Well, fall is my favorite, so I do it all. I cook down pumpkins and make pumpkin butter. I mean,
Oh, what's pumpkin butter?
so there's no butter in it at all. It's no dairy. It's basically
Like apple butter, but with pumpkins?
Yes, yeah. So you cook down the pumpkin with a bunch of spices, and then you can use it on, homemade bread or whatever. So
Oh, yum.
I love doing that. So I'm if it's a fall thing, I'm usually there, going through the cornstalk mazes, pumpkin carving, all that.
So do you still carve pumpkins?
Yes, and we do a huge haunted house in our yard, and like the whole neighborhood comes. So we're starting to plan it for this year, and it's going to be pretty intense.
Well, if you ever need a visitor, I'm not that far away. I'm just I'm at the bottom half of Virginia too, so it's not.
Well, you're welcome. We need about 18 people to make it happen.
I can be very scary. It's not even hard some days. Meara, do you have any rituals you like it in the fall, or anything you particularly?
Oh yeah, just it's the changing leaves. We always love to go up and we'll visit our daughter and do some apple picking and see the changing leaves and stuff. It makes for wonderful long weekends. So, but that's it. Otherwise, I have absolutely no artistic ability. I cannot carve a pumpkin. Although my husband, a tradition, especially as the kids were younger and at home, every year we used to go to the pumpkin patch, pick up the pumpkins, and they used to make the pumpkin pie from scratch, and that was
cool.
a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A lot of fun. So
I like roasting the seeds too.
They're
They're very healthy for you.
Seeds.
See,
Yeah.
I've never been able to get past the shell. I love the idea of roasting the seeds, but I've never been able to get past the shell. That's always too much of a deterrent for me.
Oh, I eat the shells.
I know people talk about it all the time, but I can't. Have you guys seen the pumpkin where people drilled holes and put peanut butter in and let the squirrels carve it?
Oh no.
No. Oh, that sounds wonderful.
It's really good. I'll see if Elizabeth can post something in the readers group with it. But it looks all shaggy because the squirrels went after the peanut butter and ate holes in it. And that happened last year to the jack-o'-lanterns that we put out front. The squirrels came in and thought that this was awfully nice of us to put them out.
Even without the peanut butter.
Even without the
peanut butter on it?
We didn't put peanut butter on it. They didn't need it. They were just perfectly happy to have the pumpkin themselves. So very cool. Well, I'm looking forward to the Halloween anthology, the Midnight Requiem, that's coming out in the end of October. I think it's the 25th, right in time for Halloween. It's the Dragonblade Halloween collection, and then we're also re-releasing the collection from last year as well. Do either of you guys have anything in that one?
I was in last year's.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, me too. I was in last year's, and that was great. I really enjoyed writing that story, and but I write sweet. I can't do scary, and so my ghosts are sweet, and then sexy sea captain, and just.
So you had a sexy sea captain and a friendly ghost.
He was the friendly ghost who actually planned on haunting the heroine, and then decided she was too cute. He wasn't going to let her go. Wasn't going to scare her away. So it was fun. It was a fun story.
That's fun. Heather, what was your story about?
Mine was about the true haunting of Dalgety Castle in Scotland. And there's this lady in red, Roes, and she does haunt it like a lot. It's been noted for hundreds of years that this woman, especially in this one room, is, especially when the men who stay in the room are handsome. She's very makes herself known. Yeah. So I write about her, and
it's like a ghost thirst trap.
Yeah. I grew up. I went to high school in a haunted house. Like I lived in a house that was haunted. So those kind of stories just really those draw me. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, if you're getting ready to put a haunted house in your yard, you must have a thing for Halloween.
Yeah, yeah. We like a little thing that makes your heart race.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. So I'm very excited about this week's books. I'm very excited to meet you both next week. Can we talk a little bit about what you guys have coming up in the future? I know, Meara, you've got more Book of Love books, and Heather, you have one more in this series. What else are you working on?
Do you want me to go first?
Sure.
Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. So besides the Book of Love stories that I will never stop writing, no matter how much Dragonblade begs me, but they're going to come out. But I also have a new series called Moonstone Landing, and
It's totally paranormal, right?
No.
Oh,
Straight Regency. It's set in this little town in Cornwall, because I love the English sea coast, and it's just this charming little coastal town away from London, and the way I've kind of set it up, it's the upper crust from London is starting to just starting to come out there. They're noticing that it's just a beautiful place, and it's just someplace. It's just one of these places where I have like my tortured heroes. You know, they've come back from the war, and they're of course they're dukes and they're earls and they're marquises, and and we love them because they're so tortured and titled, and so they come out and they're going to find love. So I have the Moonstone Duke and the Moonstone Marquis and the Moonstone Major, and they are. I've written the first two books, and they're going to be big books. They're nice, meaty, and really put you. Typical with me, they'll put you through the emotion, but you're going to laugh as well. Especially the Moonstone Marquis. When sometimes you're just right, and these characters, like, God, they just leap out at you. Well, the Marquis was that kind of a character. He is, and
great.
His heroine she's just gonna be a perfect match. She can just punch right back, like she's sharp, she's quick-witted, and he's just gonna fall desperately in love with her, and but she's gonna make him. He's got to straighten up. It's like, right. she's not so quick to accept him, but it's just this whole series is going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, lovely! I love when books are meaty enough that you can like really sink into the world too, especially someplace you'd want to see.
Yeah, and I did a little of introduce. As a matter of fact, the ghost story that I did in last year, where Heather and I and that introduced that little story takes place in Moonstone Landing.
Oh, okay.
And the heroine in that little story is the aunt of the three heroines who are going to be in these big meaty books. Yeah. And then we did. Heather, were you in Get Your Duke on also?
No, because I don't write Regency.
Okay.
So I think those were mostly Regency.
Yes. Yeah. But so in that one, I also introduced a few more characters from Moonstone Landing. So that one was the Moonstone Angel, and but now these big books will come out soon, and I'm really, really excited for that.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. So Heather, what do you and Sophie have going on next?
Sophie. Hi. Well, she's turning 14. That will be a big party. Anyways, yeah, she's a rescue too, just like my heroine rescued dogs. We rescue dogs. So, well, I have the third book in the trilogy coming up with Dragonblade. Right now, that's all I have with Dragonblade. But with that book, her sister, she wants to escape London. She doesn't want to be the Queen's lady anymore, but the Queen.
You like the pillow kissing? You can hardly blame her for that.
Right. I know.
Naughty job.
Right. So she has red hair, and the queen, who, I don't know if you know history, that history, but she never actually met Mary, Queen of Scots, her cousin, before she signed her death papers,
Yeah.
which she, of course, said she didn't know what she was doing. But anyways, they never met face to face, even though the movie shows that they do. So in my story, Elizabeth is trying to go secretly to go see Mary, Queen of Scots, to talk to her. So she asked Cordy, to play her and like stay veiled, but pretend like she's her. She's the counterfeit queen. And she doesn't realize. Yes, the name of the book. So she doesn't realize at the time, of course, that there's this big operation by the French, who find out that she's outside of her protective London, and they abduct her. But they abduct Cordy instead of the queen. But they think it's the queen, even though she's like 20 years younger. So the Highlander, who's working with the French as a double agent, because he is sent to protect the queen, because King James, again, wants to be her heir. So he is there to try to be friends with the French, to find out what their plans are, but then to save the queen. So he has sort of taken Cordy, and he's like, he does not believe she's the queen, even though she is acting as best she can as the queen. And anyway, there's quite some fun going on with that, with her trying to convince him that she is the Queen Elizabeth, because the queen gave her ring. There's this ring that they found, that it's a locket on there, and that's true. There's a picture of her mother, Anne Boleyn, in it, and there's a picture of Elizabeth in it. And so she never took it off. And so in the book, she gives the ring to Cordy, and that is her only proof that she's the queen, and she's trying to hold on to that. So the two of them are trying to stay away from the French and trying to keep her alive. And she's trying to pretend to be the queen, but then he realizes she's not. Anyways, it's a whole lot of fun.
Oh, it sounds like it. It sounds like it. Plus, we get extra Highlanders, and there's like, who doesn't love a Highlander?
Right,
and
right.
Speaking of which, I segued myself. While we're all at HRR next week, Dragonblade is having a sale, the Vikings, Knights, and Highlanders Oh My sale. Because when we were having our meeting, we said Vikings, Knights, and Highlanders oh my, and so so that sale will launch on the Dragonblade page. If you're looking for extra Highlanders after you get done with the Queen's Highlanders, there will be Highlanders, Knights, and Vikings on sale next week for you. We'll post the sale link on the Dragonblade Facebook page, and it'll be on the website as well, so you can find that. I will make sure I put the links to your books in the comments, so that if you haven't gotten them yet, you have a chance to grab them. Dragonblade books are the very best deal on pre-order and release, and they're always free to read with your Kindle Unlimited subscription. So you should have plenty of things to read for the weekend. Ladies, it was a delight to talk to you. I really appreciate you taking the time. I can't wait to meet you in person. I'm hoping that we're going to be through the pandemic enough that we can hug, because I'm really looking for finding some people to hug. So I'm really looking forward to next week and to seeing the pretty hair in person. So
yeah.
And the spreadsheet. I may take notes.
Yes.
Thanks so much for taking the time to talk to us.
Sure. Loved it.